So I just watched Godzilla vs. Kong, and I can confidently say it was a movie. It was a movie that I watched, and that was my biggest takeaway from it. A quick disclaimer, I was actually asleep for the first 40 minutes of the movie, so consider this a review of the second half of the movie. Yeah, I actually tuned back in when Godzilla and King Kong were fighting. So if you think about it, I actually didn't really miss anything because 90% of this movie was just them fighting. Godzilla vs. Kong tells the story of Godzilla versus Kong. I don't know how else to make it clear that this movie is exactly what you'd expect from the title. A big CGI lizard going toe-to-toe with a big CGI monkey for 2 hours. There's obviously a story woven into the movie itself, but if you haven't seen any of the Godzilla prequels or the King Kong prequels, you'd probably be pretty lost. And I personally was pretty lost. It's clear enough to know what's going on in the movie, but you don't really know the significance or the weight of what the characters are doing. But if you've seen any action movie ever, yeah, that was the story of this one. I'm sorry, most of this review is going to be me just complaining about how this movie had zero depth to it. It's a giant lizard and a giant gorilla, and they're fighting, and there's an evil tech company behind it all. And then there's a ragtag team that's quickly assembled, and I guess they're supposed to be the comic relief, but they don't really execute their jokes that well. It felt like every moment of comic relief in this movie was trying way too hard to be funny, to the point where I was just okay, get on with it. I want to see the lizard and the monkey fighting again. This was probably the most action movie-esque an action movie can get in 2021. It was like they were just going down a list and checking off all the things that make an action movie today. I can see the writer's room now. Alright, so we got a pretty big budget, guys. That means we can do pretty much whatever we want. I'll open up the floor to some suggestions. Yeah, you in the back, go ahead. So I'm thinking, and go ahead and stop me whenever. I'm just spitballing here, guys. So how about we literally make the whole movie, 90% at least,
yeah,
just
for sure.
King Kong and Godzilla just duking it out,
yeah,
alright?
Yeah.
There'll be some greedy scientists.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't really matter. Maybe the military gets involved, but as we all know, their missiles don't really do anything to either of them, but they'll be there just to show the sheer force and strength of both of them. Okay, I like where your head's at.
Thank you.
What if we take it a step further, still with me, and we take a bunch of actors who are really popular on social media right now, and we just kind of throw them in. I don't really care what they do, but let's just put them in and see what happens. Anybody writing this down? This is good. Yeah, it felt like the filmmakers wanted to make a Godzilla vs. King Kong movie for so long, but they didn't really invest enough worthwhile or memorable characters into the franchise. And again, for the 7th or 8th time, the whole movie was about the fight and nothing else. There was nothing to support the weight of the fight. And because of that, actually, ironically, because you could tell they were putting so much emphasis on the fight scenes themselves, the fight scenes didn't feel earned at all. It was like they were slowly setting things up and kind of building some tension between the characters and both Godzilla and King Kong, but once the first fight broke out, it was just like that for the rest of the movie. It ramped up, and then it was just there for no resolution. Just they're duking it out all the way to the end. And don't get me wrong, the action in this movie was pretty good. I would go so far as to say the CGI in this movie was pretty close to a representation of how high the bar should be for modern day action movies. You had King Kong running up and bouncing off a skyscraper, and Godzilla screaming and stuff, and they destroyed the entire city of Hong Kong. So at the end of the day, I paid to see a giant lizard fight a giant monkey, and that's exactly what I got, so I guess I can't complain. And yeah, I mean, besides that, there's not really much else I have to say. The acting was good, it just kind of seemed like the direction was a little off. I know Julian Dennison can be way funnier than his character in this movie, and I know Rebecca Hall can be way more interesting and memorable than her character in this movie. I don't know, man. You got the budget for this movie, might as well. Just don't go in expecting an Academy Award winning movie. Expect to see exactly what you'd expect to see, a giant lizard and a giant monkey. So I'm thinking I'm gonna give Godzilla vs. Kong. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong. Damn, I actually had to look up the title again because, I mean, yeah. Yeah, so I'm thinking I give Godzilla vs. Kong a 5 out of 10. Yeah, I'd say this is a movie that was only made possible because a producer had a lot of money and he wanted a Godzilla vs. Kong movie and, like, nothing else. So, if you're into big explosions and CGI fights, definitely check this one out, but if you're not, I don't know, see it anyway. It was a solid movie, but, like, know what you're getting yourself into going into it. I don't know. See it anyway. Write a movie review on it. Post it on YouTube. I don't know. Do whatever you want, man. Anyway, let me know what you think. Agree, disagree, whatever. If you like the video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. And if you dislike the video, go ahead and leave a like anyway and subscribe later.